Adamfopa Radio Paris. We inform. Adamfopa Radio Paris. We inform.
Good evening, lovely viewers. You are watching Adamfopa Media live in Paris. And today I have a special, wonderful guest with me. He's from Ghana, a top-notch journalist, a sports journalist. And he goes by the name George Addo Jnr. Good evening, boss.
Yeah, good evening to be in France and good evening to be in your studios. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm fine, and you?
Yeah, I'm very, very
Bonjour.
good. Bonjour. Bonjour.
Comment
Ça va? Ça va?
Ah oui, ça va bien, toi?
Toi, ça va bien, merci.
Yeah, fancy,
Yeah, fancy, it wasn't bad, but I
Yeah,
tried.
it was over cartons. Okay, bro, welcome.
That's right, it's good to
Yeah,
hear.
you are one of the idols that inspires me when it comes to this institution. I'm talking about media.
Okay.
Because I was watching you on TV
Okay.
when I was growing up, and fortunately I have to have you right here in front of me.
Okay, now you make me feel like an uncle anyway, but okay. That's right, but yeah, that's good.
Yeah, it's a blessing. It's a
Yeah.
blessing to have you here. So
Happy
how
to
have
be
you been generally?
I think it's been good. France it's not my first time in France, but I think it was my first time in Deauville where the Black Stars did camp. Generally, it's a different feel from what Paris is. Very active, people moving around. Deauville is more like a resort. Reading a lot about the border they share with Southampton and players coming over people coming over from Southampton to Le Havre, via ferries and all. So it's just a cool holiday place. And I could see there was a film festival I've been going all the time.
Yeah.
And I think it's really for affluent, the prizes and everything around there. But it was another good feel of what France is and how diverse the culture is. So I think it was good. I mean, generally good. And I've been on the road as well, traveling through the train, and it appears France is getting colder quickly than other states.
We are heading towards winter.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I could feel that, yes, a slight step up, but it's all fine. Yeah.
Yeah, so welcome to France officially.
Yes, thank you very much.
So today we are going to have a short discussion
Okay.
about the match that happened on Friday. That is Ghana versus Brazil.
Yeah.
And generally, what is your view? What is your view about that match?
But I think it was a good exercise. Ghana needed games before the World Cup. Ghana needed games to test what they have been doing. Coach Addo would definitely have needed some game time to see what his boys can do. And I think that the Brazil exercise gave us the perfect opportunity to see the team play and play at the World Cup level, because we are in a group. Yeah, the World Cup that has Uruguay, that has Portugal, has South Korea. Clearly, they've got top players there up there. So it was a good idea for us to understand where our team is, and importantly, how the players will react at that level, because we are really coming from a far place. And those who have forgotten that we went to the Africa Cup of Nations, we failed to win a game, we drew with Gabon, we lost to Comoros. Yes, we lost to Comoros, we lost to Morocco, were knocked out of the competition, and then we had to play against Nigeria. And we qualified, but we qualified without winning a game. We went into the qualifiers for the AFCON 2023. We had a win against Madagascar, and then we were not able to beat Central African Republic. Then we had a chance to play in the Kirin Cup, Japan walloped us. That was a big, and then we didn't have a number of the key players there, so we could have said that that was the situation. So then later we managed to beat Chile via penalties. Yeah. We got to see Abdul Manaf, and the very busy football season began. And so this was like the first opportunity to assemble the boys after playing in the Caribbean Cup and to see what they really could do, especially after we had also added new faces like Inaki Williams, like Stephen Ambrosius, like Ransford Yeboah, Tariq Lamptey, Antoine Semenyo finally getting his chance on the team. So overall, I think it was a very good exercise, and we all are clear in our minds where we are at the moment.
That's nice. And looking at our current squad, Coach Otuado in the first half played almost all the old names that we knew already. Do you think Ghana has a chance in the World Cup? Because we are playing against Brazil.
Yeah.
And I don't know his reasons for playing those players, but you and I could tell most of the old players are not in their top form. And going against a team like Brazil, you should come with your A game. And do you think what he did was right? Because we could see clearly after the second half when he did some couple of changes, we were able to hold Brazil to the end of the game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's the objective of the fans and the objective versus the objective of the coach. I think for the fans, Ghanaians always like to, massage their egos. And there's always a feeling that we are a top football country, that we have passion for football.
Is that thing true?
I think
I doubt personally. I doubt we are there with our current situation.
Yeah, I'll just say we have the character. We have the character. When we go into competitions, we can thrive. But over the past few years, we have failed to show the character.
Don't you think we have the name rather than the character?
I think we have the character, because remember that aside the problems we had in 2019 when we knocked down the round of 16, and in 2022, even though we're playing AFCON 2021, where we didn't win a game, from 2008 all the way to 2017, we're always in the semi-final. That's a team that's got the character. A team that makes the final of the AFCON 3 times in like 5 years. But a team that fails to win. That's just the problem there. So generally, Ghana has character. We have not gone to the World Cup as many times as Nigeria have gone, Senegal have gone, but we managed to go to the quarterfinals, and we're very close to the semi-finals. So on record, Ghana has the best performance at the World Cup from an African country. I mean, next could be Cameroon, who are also very close there with Addo Jnr. So if you look at the basics, yes, under 17 we've won something, under 21, you can find somewhere in there that we have the character. It doesn't really matter whether we have the quality or the talent on display. We had no business beating that Nigerian team that we played against in Abuja. I was in Abuja to watch the game. We had no business beating them. They were head and shoulders above us in terms of quality, in terms of having the home crowd behind them. But Ghana found a way, and that's Ghana for you. I don't think we have the best league.
Yeah.
I don't think we have the best league in Africa.
No, we don't.
But we saw the Chan boys also go back to the same Mushood Abiola Stadium to beat the Nigeria Chan Eagles again on penalties and qualify. So that is our problem. The fact that our character helps us to qualify, our character helps us to pick wins. We tend to be lazy in trying to pay attention to the building blocks. And now our failure to put in the building blocks is exposing us in what's happened in 2019 and 2021. So I would say that, you may want to massage your ego, but currently we have the character, but we are not quite following what we are supposed to do. So I don't want to say that we don't have the passion for the sport.
The passion we do.
Yes, I don't want to say that we don't have the character. We do have the character, but we have to begin to show working. That's the point.
Yeah, show working.
And show working. Yeah. And the show,
from,
the show working is good. You qualify for the World Cup. That's nice, but you have to win something on the continent as well. It's been too long for us. So aside that, I think that
you are one of the people who has been closer to the Black Stars team over the years. Do you think? Let's start with the coach. Do you think Coach Otuado has the qualities to qualify us from the group stages in World Cup and to lead us to the final?
Yeah, I think it's difficult to say, and it's always difficult to single out Coach Otuado. Remember that this Black Stars technical team is more of a consortium, and that's what people can see. There's a difference between all the Black Stars technical teams and management teams we've had. Where in the last World Cup you had Kwesi Appiah to be the man, and Kwesi Appiah had to deal with his assistant. Or where you had Milovan Rajevac, and Milovan Rajevac had to deal with his assistant. Or you had Ratomir Djukovic in 2006 to deal with his assistant. Coach Addo has like a team he's working with. So people try to judge and say, oh, Addo is just... No, Addo is the head of a consortium that has got fantastic brains, like the former and Aston Villa under 23 head coach, George Boateng, that has got the very experienced Chris Hughton, who is so hands-on if you are close with the team, and is also got as experienced head in Didi Dramani. So Didi Dramani comes in with the Ghanaian experience. He comes in with the building of players, the bonding of players. You see that clearly when you go there. And for information of those who are not close to the team, most of the time, the real work that is done on the ground is like the technical team have their meeting. When they come on the ground, the real execution you see is it's actually with the other coaches. And you can see that George Boateng is astute, and he's normally given the opportunity to go in with the boys, and he's actually working with the boys. Chris Hughton is more or less controlling stuff by organizing. You have to be there, you've got to be there, The Dramani is right in the thick of things, and Addo is really watching over it, because the plan for training is even borne by the technical team. So I saw them meet on countless occasions. I'm like, these guys don't get tired of meeting. I'm tired of meetings in multimedia, but I think they meet a lot, and it's because they have to discuss strategy and everything. So there are times when, of course, Addo is the head coach, so he has to veto some decisions. He can come out and say, well, I want to go this way. And if he does that, he knows that when there's a flack, he takes it. But basically, I would say we have a good technical team going to the World Cup, rather than say, do we have a good Addo or a bad Addo? I think it's a good technical team, and they are more than capable of getting the job done. Why do I say that? I think that they were able to squeeze water out of stone against a very talented Nigeria side, and they have shown that they have what it takes. They have what it takes to go. So even if people want to blame them on having a bad first half, how about turning it around in the second half?
Sure. And now let's come to the players. From defenders,
I think it was one question you asked, so I probably didn't get answer for you, because I went back on and you asked the question about the whether we're still an African nation. I think you were asking about the first half, whether you thought it was a good thing, and I was on the road to answer that question. I was just saying that the objectives of the fans different from the coach. Well, the coach is looking basically at testing what they have, assessing their players properly on the stage, and the fans, unfortunately, are looking out for a very good scoreline, an egotistical scoreline that makes them feel good.
It's about results.
It's about results. But we have history that shows us that before our key World Cups, we had some depressing results, but they were all very good wake-up calls. So I rather was hoping that the team was going to get a good wake-up call, not in the fashion and the manner that it came, but it's still a wake-up call nevertheless, and that we move on from there. I remember before the 2010 World Cup, we were well up by the Netherlands by 4-1. Nobody felt good about it, but the actual World Cup, we were one step away from playing the Netherlands again in the semi-finals.
That was in 2010?
2010, yes. We were one step away from playing them in the final again. And at the time, I remember nobody understood what Milovan Rajevac was doing. Everybody was confused, but and he was having the same flack like that, right?
That team that we had during 2010, as compared to our current team, they are different.
Yeah, you say they were perhaps... We sure they were different?
Yeah, you see, that team...
Were they more experienced, you think?
Experience-wise, they were there. And they were more united.
Have they looked at the team, though?
Maybe I might be wrong on
I think 2006 squad... I think 2006 squad were united... Were experienced. The 2006 squad. They were not even experienced in playing a World Cup, but they were experienced because we were playing at the top level. But 2010, we had let in young boys. We had let in young boys.
Experienced and they were united. That is what I'm trying to say.
Okay, well...
So... We moved as a team.
Yeah.
Nobody was trying to play individual football.
Yeah.
But with the current Blasters, maybe I'm seeing it that way. There are a lot of people trying to play individual football rather than a team football. That's what I'm seeing.
I'd say this: we're coming from a place where the team is trying to build something new again.
Yeah.
So this is a team more in the blocks. So I'd compare this team perhaps to the 2010 AFCON squad, when Milovan Rajevac had bedded in the young boys from the 2009 World Cup winning team and the 20 World Cup winning team. So there would still be a few knots here. I mean, have a look at the team right now. Jojo Wolcott, when did he come? It's been new. Richard Ofori has not even been with the team for that long. Yeah. Manaf is new. If Danlad gets in, he's new. If you go into central defense, when did Alexander Jiku start playing with the Black Stars? It's not been a long time. I mean, Daniel Amati went off injury, he's back. Baba Rahman, you can say, has been with the team for a while. Tariq Lamptey is just coming. Dennis Addo is just coming. Mohamed Kudus has just been bedded in, and it goes on and on.
You made mention of something about the 2009 squad that won the under 23,
under 20 World Cup.
Under 20 World Cup. That was at the time where Dede Ayew was the captain.
Yes.
Yeah. You see, in most countries, they are able to groom their youngsters to the national level.
Yeah.
Ghana is not able to do that.
Yeah, but maybe
we just pick 1 or 2 players and we forget about the rest. Because that team, we had Sadiq Adams, if I'm right, we had Osei.
Yeah, we had Osei.
Those people were good.
Adom Lekadia.
Yes.
Ajiman Bedu, yeah.
Yeah.
And you had and then there was Opoku Ajima himself, the guy.
So don't you think if we are able to set up a system where we're able to groom our players from the junior level to the senior level, even though there are going to be some changes as time goes on, but we are going to have a team rather than what we are facing now.
Yeah, it's also because Ghanaians are not patient. Are they patient? They're not patient. I mean, a lot of people have run out of gas for someone like Fatau Shahaku. They need to understand the circumstances. I mean, sometimes players are not playing at club level, not because they are not good. Kudus was shut out at the beginning of the season. It wasn't that he was not good. The coach didn't think he was good. So if you decide that, Kudus has not been playing, so drop Kudus and bring somebody else, you're not being fair to the player technically. And if you're looking at it from that angle, sometimes the player is good, he just didn't get the opportunity to go in there. So it's also about the patience that we have as a nation. I mean, we have lambasted and sacked people from the team. Don't know where Philemon Bafo is. He doesn't feel good about the Black Stars call-up. That's the level to which we can be impatient in Ghana.
But once we call you to the national team, we assume you.
Yeah, but it's a process. It's a process. I mean, you can go back and watch Thomas Partey's first game with the Black Stars. It's a process. You can go back and watch Kudus' first game for the Black Stars.
Immediately you see them, even if on their first match they are not able to deliver, you could tell like they have the potentials.
So, but we have to understand that, and I feel like we have to understand that. Club football dynamics very different from national team dynamics.
Exactly. Yeah.
All right. So Kudus is doing fantastic for his club in the false 9. Hello, there's no false 9 role to play in the Black Stars because we need Kudus to be knocking the ball around. Dan won't stand there as a false 9. So all of a sudden his role in the national team is different, and because it's in a national context, you have to play with a certain character. It's why people look at Jojo Wallacott and say, Jojo Wallacott does not really inspire the confidence. Because you have to play with some kind of passion that will see you screaming, and this is a Ghanaian thing. Because Ghanaians don't see you screaming at your defenders, don't see you, because that's what we have seen all the years with Fatau Dauda, Olele, and all the guys, Sami Ajay, or you can even think about the local game that we play. This is how our goalkeepers. I mean, if you want to be sure that you are confident with this goalkeeper. He's actually everybody. They are commanding the Eddie and everybody. They are commanding their area, screaming, shouting, instructing, stay here. Jojo Wallacott is not doing none of that. So even trying to find the peace with Ghanaians is not even there. You understand? So I believe that the club football and national team dynamics are different always. And so the fact that somebody's doing very well at club level does not necessarily mean that he will do well at national team, and does not also just mean that the coach needs him to fit because he's there. Gabriel Jesus is out. He was not part of this Brazil squad, which is unthinkable. And if by this time, with a month to go,
I think he's doing well in Arsenal.
He's doing so well in Arsenal. But maybe the dynamic of the team and what the coach wants at national team level doesn't give him the opportunity. In Africa, they are obvious. Like in Africa, they are, and I'm saying this not to give anybody an excuse, because when Brazil say they won't take Gabriel Jesus, they've got guys there who can play better than him, and they've got guys there who get the job done. It is when you come to Africa, you say, "Oh, this guy doesn't suit my system," but whoever is suiting your system is not giving you the results. So we look back and say, "Then why don't you get him anyway?" So our cases are different, but I just feel like we as Ghanaians, we need to be patient and understand the building blocks. You see, what do we do? Let me just go back. What do we do when an under-17 team fails? We disband the under-17 team, and the new coach is installed, and he comes with the new under-17 team. So if the first coach who handled the 17 team was an attacking coach, he has put together attacking materials. because there's no stability, and a new coach will come. He will come for defensive material. So you move 2 years ago, you were playing attacking. The next year, you're playing defensive, and then it means that the players are also changing and going. So you don't have it like Uruguay had a system that had Oscar Tabarez there for such a long time, and he gave them stability with the players coming through the ranks. And now we're seeing the likes of Valverde go on and do it. It's a whole system. So maybe another day we can talk about it, because that's a different thing altogether, where the technical director of the Ghana Football Association must have taps on developing players right from the U15, which is almost collapsed now, then the 17, then in Europe they do under 19 for a reason. They've got under 21 for a reason, because there's under 17 and there is under 23. But they have put their captions down there so that they can get more younger players, going through the line. So we have to work on that. And until we have done that, we can't be talking about players moving from here to there. So you had Fatai Isako moving from Dreams FC all the way to the Black Stars.
Yes.
Hello, that's a shock.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes we forget about it, but that's a shock. Even if I threw you into the Black Star squad today, it may take you like 2 days to get used to seeing everybody, Thomas Partey and everybody. So for a young boy like Fatai Isako, that's a bit more of a shock. But at the end of the day, Ghanaians are not supposed to be answering these questions for the technical team. What they want is go out there and get the job done for us, because we are paying and we are sorting you out to go and get the job done. But when we get opportunity by the microphones, we have to try and give them a bit of insight into how it's going. So I feel basically we will get there if we want to stick to a plan. It's just that in Ghana, it's not only about football. I mean, the politicians will come for me wherever they go, football, wherever. We just can't stick to a plan, and because we can't stick to a plan,
but
we just
let me ask this thing.
Yeah.
You see, like a player like Kudus, who is being played as a false nine in his team.
Yep.
And now in Black Stars, he's not being played as a false nine. But once you play him as a false nine, he's able to score. Don't you think? Because football is about results.
Yes, yes.
So don't you think Coach Otuado should make an exception for a player like this? Because it's the goals that we need. So if all the players can stick to your plan and you can make an exception for a player like Kudus, who currently is scoring, you don't have to quench his flames. So don't you think we can make an exception for him to play him false nine in the Blasters where he can deliver?
I wish Kudus was sitting here. If you ask him the question about if you ask him the question about whether he likes to play as a false nine or likes to play as an 8, Kudus would tell you, I want to play as an 8. So watch the Ajax games. And sometimes this is why I like to watch games live. In Ajax, they have top creative midfielders who will get the ball to Kudus. But when Kudus is playing as a false nine, there are a number of times when he's calling for the ball and the ball is not coming, he's frustrated. Because he's not that kind of player who has to go and stand there and wait for it. Okay. Just picture Kudus behind Afenajan in the game we played. He'll virtually be out of the game because no ball was coming up from the midfield. Yeah. No ball was coming up because Thomas Partey was injured and couldn't play. So all the lines were cut. Didi Ayew was struggling with fitness a bit. And Baba Idrisu was also doing his bit, but there was too much pressure on him. And it's Kudus and Afenajan. They will play all the game up, then always win.
The midfield in the first half was totally down.
That's the point.
Neymar was just...
And the only one who helped that midfield was Mohamed Kudus. Yeah. And so if you know Kudus and you watch Kudus is the guy who even loves more touches of the ball. And if you look at the way the Black Stars is put out there, because we don't have too many creatives, it needs to be among the number 8.
And don't you think that is one thing the coach should look at?
I think he's tried. Okay, so
with
national team, with national team football.
Yes, with our current players, which of the players do you think is more creative? Because in Brazil, you can talk about Neymar. When things get worse, he can pull out some tricks and things will change. When things get worse, Junior, the other Junior,
Vinicius Junior, you mean?
Vinicius Junior, pull out our tricks and things are going to change. In our current team, do we have players like that?
Yeah, I think it's more about our system and getting the players to suit it. Okay. So, Antoine Semenyo plays for his team in Bristol City. We see him playing, attacking. He's got ideas, hasn't he? Mohamed Kudus is an attacking guy. Kofi Tre is one of those who got the numbers, up in there. Osman Bukari has been scoring a lot of goals. Even those knocking the doors like Joseph Pencil are scoring goals. Who else? Let me just look in this midfield because Gideon Mensah is more or less pulling his weights as much as he can. You have to check out for that guy, Ransford Yeboah. He's also very, very good. You have Inaki Williams, who's also another one who can create. I mean, So when you look all around the midfield, we have got something that we can work with, but you can't play all of them at the same time, and you need a system.
Do we have a magician? That's what I want to
No,
know.
I don't think we have an exceptional player, and it's a difficult thing that a lot of Ghanaians feel to come to. We don't have an exceptional player, a player who can call the magic for us. We don't have it. Neymar can single-handedly create a chance and score a goal. We don't have. Last time we had Sabedi Pele, maybe.
Yes, but
I mean,
I think even with
Precon, maybe, or Date Lamte, these are the guys.
Squad, like players like Muntari,
They were not
magicians, but like when the need comes, you see the passion was there.
Yes, because we forget. It's because we forget 2010. We're all frustrated with Sule Muntari a number of times, but he hit the shot and score.
Exactly.
We still have people who can hit a shot and score. Thomas Partey can hit a shot and score. Kudus can hit a shot and score. But your question about the creative guys, or having a magician in the team, we don't have.
And don't you think these are some of the things our coaches need to
yeah, so because we don't have special quality players, and I mean because we don't have that
a good scout team.
No, we've just not had it. Sometimes you may be lucky to get one, but if you don't have it, you are lucky to get a Messi, you're lucky to get a Ronaldo, you're lucky to get an Mbappe, somebody who can create out of nothing. You are lucky, but for African teams, okay, even the Senegal national team, do they have a baby money? But even money, that is struggling by. So, if you don't have that special player who can change things for you in a game, then you go with a good system.
Okay.
And at the World Cup, more often than not, good systems work. Okay. So I think we have to pay attention to that and ensure that we can get things, rolling and running. That would be it for me. So I'm looking out for more around the team and also a system that works for everybody. Yeah, okay. Because I know there've been several occasions where Thomas Partey has been worried. I can see from the pitch worried about who is making the run, in front of him for him to hit those long, decisive passes. Nobody's making the run. And I think in Arsenal, when he picks the ball, Jesus running there, Martinelli running there, and he can quickly send in the ball to Saka. But that's not available in the Black Star. So the dynamics always are different. So I think that special players may come, but not yet. We don't have that.
Okay. And defensive-wise, what do you think about the current team?
Yeah, defensively. So it's interesting.
I think first half we were playing 4 defenders.
Yes, four.
Second half
we switched to a 3 back. Yeah.
And the 3 defenders were more effective than the 4 defenders.
Yeah, because you cannot expect Baba Rahman to run the full length of that left back role if he was coming up against some very hot Brazilian wingers. And the Brazilians were attacking with a lot of speed. So clearly,
Vinicius,
of course. So Dennis Odoi and Rahman were found wanting on the day.
Yeah.
So they were not quite suited for the role. That's what it was that day.
But technically, these are realities we are going to face in the World Cup.
Yeah.
We are going to meet Cristiano Ronaldo.
Yeah.
Even though he is old, he can still run.
Going to meet Son.
Yes.
Going to meet.
And your son can run very well.
Yeah.
So do you think with these defenders they'll be able to hold these players?
Yeah. So the advantage is that when you play a 3-5-2, a centre back can step in and help a wing back when he's not returning, and that's where we seem to play much better. So we tested. So for those who were wondering what Hotu was doing, I guess we tested what a 4-4-2 can give us, or a 4-2. 4-2-1-3 or 4-2-3-1 can give us, and also what a 3-5-2 can give us, or a possible 3-4-3 can give us if we want to attack, and we have our answers in what this. So certain types of players will suit certain formations and certain tactics, and I think the coach is now clear in his mind how it's going. I think anyway, if you want to use Baba Rahman, you're better off using him as a wing back than a full back, and even if you want to use Dennis Odoi, you have to be careful about it, because it must be a game where whoever is attacking him is not too fast, because you clearly read that he was losing gas in the process. And it's not just the first thing. I think I saw the same thing when he played in the game between Club Brugge and FC Porto. He had issues there again with the winger that came up against him. So it's about getting the right players and fitting them in the right system. That's the job of the technical team.
Okay, thank you so very much for your time. what are the chances of this current Black Stars qualifying from the group stages?
Yeah, I say
Because we
these.
are playing Uruguay.
Yeah, we're playing Uruguay,
Yeah.
we're playing Portugal,
And
we're playing
the
South Korea.
mindset of most Ghanaians is about revenge, and that is where I fear. Because if everything is about revenge, you end up not paying attention to little things, and later you end up.
Yeah, I
continuing
think
little
I'll
things.
use your platform to tell Ghanaians what Uruguayans think as well. So we talk a lot about revenge, but when I speak to Uruguayans and their journalists, they tell me, okay, God, there was absolutely nothing wrong with that game again. They say, I mean, Suarez touched the ball,
Yeah.
which Asamoah would have done for Ghana if he was in that position.
Exactly.
Because it was desperate. And that's why I talk about playing as a national team and having the character. He has to get the ball out and make sure that his team is saved. Okay, he got the ball out. He was punished. Penalty. Red card. We didn't score. The next opportunity on a fair ground was a penalty shootout. And you missed out.
Yeah.
So they can understand why Ghana thinks that
They are coming for revenge.
they are coming for revenge. And they are reminding us that in any case, Uruguay have won the World Cup twice. Ghana has not made the semi-final.
Yeah.
So we are not even in their class, and they have to prove to
Exactly.
us that they are not in our class when we meet at the World Cup.
Yeah.
That's what they want to do.
Yeah.
They want to beat us well, so that we'll just keep quiet and know that.
And looking at their current squad, do you think they can?
It's all about systems. You see, the advantage that Minos have at the World Cup is that when you play against a top-ranked team like Portugal, and they don't get it like you get first goal in the first 45 minutes or 60 minutes, they begin to grow frustrated. And then the minnow begins to grow in strength, and that's why you have a lot of upsets in competitions like this. So that affords you. Remember that every team has flaws, every team has pluses. Your job is not to have a better player than Cristiano Ronaldo. Your job is to take advantage of the flaws of Portugal when they arrive or when the opportunities arrive. That's actually your job. So Portugal can have 60 chances in a game, and Ghana can have 2 chances in a game and score 1 and win the game by 1-0. And it's been very typical of our World Cups. People talk about 2010, like 2010 was so good. Let me remind them of 2010. I mean, against Serbia, it was just 1 penalty that took us in the first game. In the second game, we drew 1-1 there with Australia. In the third game, we lost. Hello. It was the other team that gave us a chance to qualify. Take us to 2006. In the first game, we lost to Italy. We managed to beat Czech Republic, which was a big of a surprise. And it was, even with that win, against USA, if we drew, we'd be in trouble. Remember, Hamin Draman, that penalty, VAR won't survive. It was not going to be a penalty, but we managed to go through. So, and then you look at 2014 World Cup, where it all came down. We lost the first game to USA, and then we lost the second. You see, and no, we drew the second with Germany, and then we lost the third. So it's always as close as it is. Like it is this way.
Like it's like Ghanaians are always comfortable with that calculation. Okay, we won the first match, we drew.
It's not like we have a choice. It's not like we have a choice. That's how difficult the World Cup is. We don't have a choice.
It's happened that we can always qualify without going through that mathematics.
I'm sorry. We cannot. I'm saying this because
other teams are able to do it.
Let's respect the rankings. Yeah, let's respect the rankings. Ghana is the worst ranked team in the World Cup. If you list the countries, Ghana is number 32 on the ranking. So what you are talking about is for Germany and Brazil and Italy. They should be, even Italy are not in the World Cup, but Germany and Brazil, they should get angry if they can't qualify with 7 points. But Ghana, if we get 2 points and we qualify, we are okay, we are good. I mean, it's clear that the team is looking at qualifying for the next stage of the competition. That's it. There can't be any bigger discussion for Ghana. I mean, it's like...
So from what you say, you think we can't make it to the final?
We are in danger of losing out even in the group stage. I mean, we should be fair. I mean, look, if you play Portugal, if you lose that first game to Portugal, and you draw with Uruguay or you draw with South Korea, and you draw again with Uruguay, you probably can't be out. So the job is go and play against Portugal. You don't need to have a better player than Ronaldo or what's his name, Bruno Fernandes or Diego Jota, any of those. You don't need to have that. What you need to have is pay attention to the flaws of Portugal, and you can win the game. So Manchester United, with their might, can play against Brighton, and Brighton win by 2-1. The statistics show that Manchester United have 60 chances, Brighton had 3 chances. That's the kind of luck that the Minos carry, and always at World Cups they are upsets. We had no business beating Czech Republic, who were ranked number 2, but it happened. So you go in, but it didn't just happen, because if you look at our team, We had a good midfield.
Yeah,
We had
midfield
players who were
was-
working. We had
was
somebody who
awesome.
can get the ball and score. And so that's basically.
And Asamoah was
Yeah.
then on
So
this game, yeah.
so if we can do the right things and listen to the head coaches, and I think we can go there. However, I think that we need to improve quickly with the way we play, because if you go out there and we are not strong enough to, you can be totally disgraced at the World Cup.
Yeah. So Ghana now has 2 matches to play before the World Cup. We play Switzerland. And
Yeah, Switzerland is a later game, and then
Yes.
we are heading to. In fact, I'm heading to Spain.
Nicaragua.
Yeah, to play against Nicaragua. Yeah.
Yeah, so two matches ahead of us before the World Cup. Looking at our current match, just the recent match that we played, do you think we can do better as compared to Switzerland and
Nicaragua.
Yeah.
I think we will do better because they are not at the level. The Switzerland game will be very, very hot, and it is that game that
if you say they are not at the level,
Nicaragua is not at the level of Brazil. I mean,
but the same way. What's the name of the team that scored us?
Central African Republic.
Nokoromos.
Which one? Which team?
In African Cup.
Oh, Comoros.
Comoros, yes.
No, yeah,
Comoros, I personally had never heard about Comoros before.
No, yeah, but the
And
Comoros.
they scored us.
Yes, I agree.
They were not at our level.
Yeah, they were. I would have in the competition. I was at the AFCON. I saw Comoros play against Morocco, and I knew that they were going to be difficult to beat. And that's especially the first they played against Gabon.
Yeah.
In that Gabon game, they drew the game,
Yeah.
and then in the second game, they were close to beating Morocco actually.
Yeah, exactly.
So, unless people were just working with the names, but when I looked at what they had played, I knew they were going to give us trouble. But I thought perhaps we'll have a little more in the tank. It looked like we had a little more in the tank, but we went down by a man. Maybe we could have drawn that game. And funny enough, a point were qualified us. But yeah, clearly, it's our fault. Because Morocco and Comoros don't fall in the same group, no matter how you look at it. And it is you allow Comoros to keep on growing confidence, and they come and they play against you. So I'm even looking at the opposition. I'm not even looking at us. I'm not saying that we are better than Nicaragua or Nicaragua is better than us. I'm saying Nicaragua are not as good as Brazil, which gives you more time to organize what you have in front. And I think the coach is interested in looking at more of the boys, so maybe a lot of it. It's a friendly. In a friendly, you can change your 10 players. So it's still possible.
Yeah. Okay. And against Switzerland?
That will be the game I'll be interested in, because the only problem normally for players very close to the start of the tournament is injuries. So players are careful. But by that time, you should have a very good idea of what you're doing. So I think first 11 that day will be as close to the first 11 against Portugal without that, because playing against Switzerland is giving yourself the right thing. You know why we chose Switzerland, right?
No, tell me.
Switzerland beats Portugal cheeky is that there. No matter what they do, check the head-to-head between Switzerland and Portugal. They're masters of discipline in them, and so they have something in them as well that they can do. And even Switzerland have a pretty good record against Brazil. You just don't know what Switzerland have.
Yeah.
Switzerland always have a way of beating Brazil. I don't know what they do, but they always have. So that will be a sharp
it's like
test.
there are some teams, no matter whichever team
It's
you
football.
are, they can score you. Like,
Yeah, it's football.
Barcelona and Celtic.
Yeah.
Irrespective of how Barcelona will play, whenever they mix Celtic, settle with discipline aside.
It's football. So so we play Switzerland. They will give us a very good test. I think Switzerland as well are in the next group. They're in G as well. So there are possibilities of meeting them depending on how you finish in the group. And it's a World Cup, so even where you finish is important. If finishing first will give you a problem, you have to force and finish second.
Yeah, exactly. Because in our group, if we finish first, are we going to beat Brazil?
It depends on who is second. So if Brazil realize that it's Ghana who is finishing first, they say let's finish second. Ghana will be easier to go over.
Yeah.
So you also have to be playing the.
Yeah.
You have to play in the card if you have the luxury. Brazil, I think, can win their first game, second game, and decide, it's Ghana topping this group.
Let's discipline them again.
So they say Ghana is topping this group, so let's drop down and play Ghana.
Yeah.
Or okay, this guy is rather there. Let's go up. So you look at the dynamics so they can get the correct path going through. But overall, I hope that by then we are ready.
Okay. George Addo.
Yes, sir.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, it's a pleasure. I mean, it's a pleasure.
I wish we could continue this interview, because it's really been fun having you here with me.
Yeah.
This is Adamfopa Media in Paris.
That's right.
We are happy to have you here with us today.
Yes.
And any last words for your viewers?
What do I say? I think, look, it's a World Cup here. So I can understand people are very excited. People are, some are anxious, others are panicking. We will go into this one knowing that it has not been easy for Ghana since we started going to the World Cup, and that's what I want everybody to understand.
Everything about Ghana this year hasn't been easy. Since,
yes, but
from E-Levy.
But I even want to remind them that it was not easy in 2006. It was not easy.
Yeah.
It wasn't easy in 2010, and it wasn't easy in 2014. So it will be extra difficult in 2022. Keep the fingers crossed. But slow down on bashing the players. Yeah, you have to. Yeah, that's what you can do. I don't think an African country. I don't think an African country
I
is.
I think as at now, what Ghanaians need is soloku.
Oh yeah, they want to dance.
Yeah, in order to
be happy that the team is won.
You see, in 2010, Ghanaians will win and the soloku beyond.
Yeah. But then, in the end, we had our biggest cry of any tournament because we couldn't make a semi-final. So we just have to manage expectations and keep them going gradually. I'm not sure the FA is going to change the technical team. I'm not sure anybody's going to be fired. So slow down, guys. It's all about encouraging the boys to go and get the job done. At the end of the day, it's how good you are and how lucky you are and how well you take your chances, and that will show where you can go. I've heard a lot of people say an African country can win the World Cup. I'm sorry, no African country win the World Cup.
This year?
No.
This year?
No African country.
There are surprises in heaven.
I'm saying that. No. You see, there are some of the surprises that are measured. Yeah. That God must hand over a surprise that does not overly surprise you, because some surprises can kill you too. I mean, so God makes sure that there's step one after step two, and there's always a little N1 there, because if you give an 18-year-old a tundra, I'm not sure you're making sense, right?
Yeah,
so he has to grow to like maybe 26, 28 when he's working with some oil company, and you give him a tundra. It makes sense because he can use it and he can fuel the tundra. I don't think we're there yet. Maybe we can get an African country the semi-final, and that's a big maybe because of our set pieces problems. We concede from set pieces. We don't defend set pieces, and when we have set pieces, we don't take advantage of them. How do you win the World Cup like that?
I think we were talking about this back.
Backstage. How do you win the World Cup like that? Because after the group stages are done, round of 16, quarter-final, semi-final, and final, if it's tight in 90 minutes, we'll go to extra time of 30 minutes.
And talking about extra time, do you think our players have that stamina?
They have to show up. There's nothing you can do. When it's time, you have to show up. If you don't have the stamina...
Our captain can't even play 90 minutes.
So it's about the coach. That's why you have 26 players this time. FIFA has put in their COVID. They consider COVID and say, okay, instead of having a normal 23, extra 3 players. Extra substitutions. So that's... If your captain is tired, bring in your assistant captain. If your assistant captain is tired, bring in your assistant 2 captain. It's up to you. You can't have an excuse to say that out of the 24, 25 you selected, somebody's tired and someone cannot be substituted. So you must have double plans going into the World Cup. And that's the point. And I hope that African countries don't serve us another dose of drama. With a team that has got to round of 16 that has to focus to play, saying that our World Cup allowances or bonuses haven't come, and because of that we want to boycott training. This is what Africa has been doing at the World Cup. Hopefully we don't do that again.
Let's hope so. And today, before you go, it's an El Clasico match in Ghana. Kotoko versus Hearts of Oak. And I know you are a really big Hearts of Oak fan.
Yeah, of course. Yes, Hearts of Oak fan, of course.
I'm for Kotoko.
Oh, you're a Kotoko fan. Great. So I think it's just been unfortunate for Kotoko with the way they were knocked out in that game. And I could say here, I don't think Hearts of Oak will ever be knocked out like that at home.
Are you sure?
No,
it's football, you know.
No, it's football, but no, Hearts of Oak will never be. I mean, you can go into history, but Hearts of Oak.
Really?
But Hearts of Oak. Hearts of Oak. Hearts of Oak beat the winners of the last Champions League in Accra, WAC, 2-0, and beat Kamsa. I mean, it's unheard of that you go and play a first leg. And we understand the first leg was in a neutral venue, okay? So if it was in Burkina Faso, maybe you will survive. But you won by 1-0 and in front of your fans, you had to really win there, okay? So on the back of that, I don't think Hearts of Oak have travelled well in the Ghana Premier League this season, and that's why I'm a bit suspect about their away performances. But if it can win against Kotoko, then it's going to help you to go on and do it. I don't know how God is judging this. Samobwedu needs a win.
I don't think God is a God of football.
But Samobwedu needs a win. We clear Kotoko needs something badly because of what happened in Kadiogo. Let's see where it goes. Let's see where it goes. But I think Hearts will win.
Okay, so thank you so much. Please, this is where we end the show. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel if you've not. Subscribe and share to your friends, your loved ones, and tell them to follow Adamfopa Media in Paris. Do you have anything to say about Adamfopa before you leave?
No, I think you guys are doing a good job, and it's growing. It's been in the system. So for all those who want news on Ghanaian stuff, and I know how it is when you travel from Ghana, you want to know what's happening in Ghana.
Exactly.
So you need a bit of a bridge,
Exactly.
that gives you the information. So you have to stick to Adamfopa, and then. Yeah, and those of us in Ghana, we also want to know what's happening down here. Obviously, you're also the bridge in there, and I've been told of some interesting interviews that you have lined up already. So yeah, let's get it going. And it's important that you can subscribe. And with YouTube and stuff, it's always easy. You can watch it anytime you want to watch it.
Exactly.
If it's on Joy News, once we are done with the show, you have to wait for a repeat, or you never see it again. So you got a great chance here. To be on with Adamfopa. I hope everybody gets to log on to this one and get through it.
Okay. Thank you so very much for your time. Hope we have you again next time. Anytime you're in France, feel free to pass through.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So viewers, this is where we end the show. I hope you enjoyed. Have a lovely evening.
Okay.